a flight that ended before it ever began. This plane was never supposed to be in the air for long. It took off just after 10 in the morning from a quiet regional airport in North Carolina. But only minutes later, something went wrong. The jet abruptly turned back, lining up for an emergency landing. Instead of touching down safely, it crashed near the runway, erupting into a massive fire. At first, officials stayed silent about who was on board. But as the hours passed, confirmation began to surface. This wasn't just a private jet. It was a plane owned by a NASCAR champion. And now, investigators are working to understand how a routine flight turned into one of the most devastating aviation incidents the region has seen in years. The takeoff that immediately raised alarms, flight tracking data, shows the jet took off from Statesville Regional Airport at approximately 10:06 a.m. This wasn't a cross-country trip, it was a short flight, the kind pilots complete every day without incident. But instead of continuing forward, the aircraft almost immediately looped back toward the airport. That detail is critical. In aviation, pilots do not turn back moments after takeoff unless something serious happens inside the cockpit. Warning systems, instrument alerts, or sudden onboard issues can force crews into a high-pressure decision, and those decisions have to be made fast. Within minutes, the plane was attempting to land again, but the window for recovery was already closing. Emergency landings shortly after takeoff are among the most dangerous scenarios in aviation. At that point, the aircraft is heavy with fuel. It has limited altitude, and there's almost no time to stabilize or troubleshoot. Pilots don't have the luxury of circling, dumping fuel, or preparing the runway the way they might during a normal return. Everything happens in seconds. Aviation experts say when a crew chooses to turn back immediately, it often means continuing forward would be even more dangerous. Whatever the pilots saw or felt forced them into a split-second choice. And unfortunately, the most dangerous part of the flight was still ahead. Around 10:15 to 10:20 a.m., the jet crashed near the runway at Statesville Regional Airport. The impact triggered a massive fire. First responders rushed to the scene as black smoke rose above the airport. Video from local media showed emergency crews battling flames near scattered wreckage. This wasn't a crash far from help. It happened right on the tarmac, at an airport that regularly handles corporate aviation and NASCAR-related flights. Sheriff's officials quickly confirmed that there were fatalities. Later, the FAA would confirm that 6 people were on board. But at that moment, authorities still wouldn't say who those 6 people were. People nearby saw the final moments unfold. Golfers at the neighboring Lakewood Golf Club said the plane flew unusually low overhead. One witness described thinking, "That's way too low," just seconds before impact. Another said debris scattered across parts of the golf course after a loud explosion. For those watching, there was no doubt something had gone terribly wrong. And as emergency crews secured the scene, reporters began digging into the aircraft's ownership. That's when a familiar name surfaced. Public records show the aircraft was a Cessna C550 registered to GB Aviation Leasing. The address listed for that company matches an address associated with Greg Biffle in Mooresville, North Carolina. Biffle is a well-known name in NASCAR, a 19-time Cup Series winner, and the first driver to win championships across NASCAR's top 3 national series. But ownership alone didn't confirm anything. Many aircraft are owned by LLCs and leased or flown by others. The key question remained unanswered. Was Greg Biffle actually on board? For hours, officials declined to say. Then, confirmation came from a trusted and unexpected source. Garrett Mitchell, better known as Cletus McFarland, shared a post that instantly changed the story. Mitchell confirmed that Greg Biffle was on the plane, so was his wife Christina, and their 2 children, daughter Emma and son Ryder. They were reportedly on their way to spend the afternoon together. No race, no event, just a family trip. The post spread rapidly, drawing tens of thousands of reactions in a short time. At that moment, the story moved far beyond aviation news. It became a national tragedy. And with that confirmation came even more questions. The FAA confirmed there were 6 people total on the aircraft. 4 were members of the Biffle family. That leaves 2 others. Authorities have not yet released their identities. Most likely, those seats were occupied by the pilot and co-pilot, which is standard for a jet of this size, but officials have not confirmed that. They also have not released information about pilot experience, flight hours, or who was controlling the aircraft during the attempted landing. Those details are now central to the investigation, because understanding who was in the cockpit may help explain what happened next. Greg Biffle is not just a racing driver, he is also a licensed pilot. In fact, he earned widespread praise just last year for using his personal helicopter to deliver supplies to remote parts of North Carolina after Hurricane Helene caused devastating flooding. He even helped locate stranded families during those relief efforts. That history adds another layer of complexity to this story, because aviation was not unfamiliar territory to him. And now, investigators will have to determine whether any of that played a role, or whether this tragedy was entirely mechanical and unavoidable. Weather conditions are now part of the investigation. Reports indicate there was fog in the area at the time of the crash, with visibility estimated at around 5 miles. A local news helicopter responding to the scene reportedly had to turn back due to weather conditions. However, officials have not confirmed whether weather directly contributed to the crash. Investigators will examine radar data, weather reports, and visibility readings from the exact moment of takeoff and landing. For now, weather remains a factor under review, not a confirmed cause. The National Transportation Safety Board has officially taken the lead. A specialized GO team is being dispatched to Statesville. They are expected to hold a media briefing once initial assessments are complete. Every piece of wreckage will be examined. Maintenance records will be reviewed. Flight data will be analyzed to reconstruct the jet's final moments. These investigations are methodical and slow by design. Answers won't come overnight, but they will come. And when they do, they may reshape how this tragedy is understood. This wasn't a race. It wasn't a competition. It was a family taking a short flight on a normal day, a routine takeoff, a sudden problem, and a series of moments that changed everything. As investigators work to determine what caused this crash, one truth is already clear. This loss reaches far beyond the runway. We'll continue following this story as official updates are released, and our thoughts remain with everyone affected by this heartbreaking tragedy. As this investigation continues, officials are urging the public to be patient and avoid jumping to conclusions. In aviation cases like this, answers don't come quickly. They come through careful reconstruction, data analysis, and weeks of review. For now, what's known is limited, but what's felt is overwhelming. A quiet airport, a short flight, and 6 lives that won't be forgotten. As more verified information is released by federal investigators, we'll continue to bring updates with accuracy and respect. If you have thoughts on this story or questions you're hoping investigators can answer, share them below. This is a developing situation, and we'll stay on it.